Hi, welcome to your Together Time with Kids, where I share budget friendly activities for busy families to spend meaningful time with their kids. Today, we'll be learning about literacy. For today's lesson on literacy, we will be doing the bottle cap name. So, to start off this activity, we will begin with reading a story. I would recommend finding a book all about names, such as G, My Name is Girl, or also The Name Jar. Now, these books can be found at your library, purchased on Bookshop or Amazon, or there are some YouTube videos of read aloud videos if that is easier for you and family. Now, during the story, it's going to be important to pause and talk about what's on the pages and what sorts of pictures are on the pages, what letters each name starts with, different things you might want to ask your child could be if you know anyone else in your family whose name starts with that letter or that starts with that sound. It'll also be important to make predictions during the story. So as you're getting to different plot points in the story, ask your child, what do you predict will happen next? And talk about that word prediction and introduce it as a new vocabulary word for them. As you're going through, to encourage your child to retell the story, you can ask them questions like, wait, who was that person? Or what are they doing? Or what's happening on this page? Questions like that are open-ended that can allow your child to tell you about what they've understood from the story. Other things that you can think about while reading these stories about names can be if any of the names in the story start with the same letter as your child's name, or if they rhyme with your child's name, or with names that are familiar in your family. So someone that your child knows if they have a name that rhymes, or you can talk about the letters and how that begins. That can be helpful. At the end of the story, you'll want to recap with your child and ask them to describe the sequence of events. So ask them about the beginning, middle, and story. All right, so once you have finished that first step of this activity in reading a story together, the second phase is a hands-on activity where you will have your child trace the letters of their name with some found objects, either in your house or outside. So to set up this activity, first you'll want to take a pretty large piece of paper, a big piece of paper, maybe a piece of cardboard, and write their name. And then you'll want to have your child help with picking out some found objects that you can use to trace along their letters. So if they need some modeling, you can do this first, line up the objects along the letter to trace out the letters with the objects, and then you can clear it away and let them try. And have their interests guide what type of objects you use, or maybe you can do this multiple times with different objects. So if they're really into stickers, maybe instead of bottle caps, you can use stickers to outline and trace the letters of their name. And you can talk about the letters. So for young children, it's interesting the different shapes that these letters are making. So you can talk about how in that letter there are curves, or in this letter there's a lot of straight lines. You can ask them, what letter is that? Do you know what sound it makes? And you can make connections back to the story or to real life contexts. So things like, do you remember anyone from the story whose name also started with that letter? Or can you think of anyone in our family whose name starts with that sound? Use their hand instead of only using writing utensils to spell out their name can be a helpful way to reinforce the letters that are in their name. And some other ideas that you could use to extend this lesson could be spelling their name with a finger in dirt or sand. Maybe you have some magnets of all the letters, and you can have them use the letter magnets to spell their name, and find creative metal surfaces to stick those to. And any time that you're able to find the letter that their name starts with, signs or in real life context, pointing to it and reiterating that that's the same letter that their name starts with. I hope that you enjoy reading about different names and that you'll have an opportunity to discuss some diverse names, maybe names that your child or you have never heard of, and be able to talk about how important it is to pronounce someone's name correctly and how we feel if someone pronounces our name wrong, and how it's important for them to take the time and pronounce someone's name correctly. So thinking about that cultural responsiveness for your child is a way to extend the learning outcomes for the storytelling portion. And then practicing with their letter recognition for spelling their name. So I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And I would love to see how this lesson goes for you and your kiddos. So if you're able to take a photo of their name being traced or some of the letters in action, I would love if you could post a photo in the comments and share to help build this community of fellow busy families who are looking for fun activities to do with their kids. So thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.